want to get in. We got about 4 to 5 more minutes. I want to get into your thoughts when you was talking about Isaiah Thomas, the legendary Detroit Pistons point guard, and you brought up a great, interesting take on the fact is how you felt he might be overlooked, especially with all this that's been going on in regards to thinking that at one point I think Michael Jordan said that he believed that Steph Curry is the greatest point guard outside of Magic Johnson and not Isaiah Thomas. What is your take on that?
Well, we were talking the other day. I just think that whole Detroit Pistons run is overlooked. Usually, when you talk about the '80s, they go right from even Philly gets skipped over. Really, it's more or less Boston, LA, then it's right to Chicago. And we were just talking over there. I was like, man, I was listening to an old Isaiah interview, and I was like, man, I forgot they went to 5 Eastern Conference championships in a row, and they went to 3 chips in a row, and they should have won 3 in a row. Like besides I believe a terrible, terrible call in that game 6 of the first year, they should have three-peated. And I'm just like, and it's just like that era just kind of gets skipped over, and it's like when you like, I don't want to say enemies, whatever, but when you're on the opposite coin of Michael Jordan, who's so beloved, it's like you get pigeonholed a little bit, and it's like people don't really rock with Isaiah because so many people love Jordan, and like when I listen to Isaiah interviews and I study a little bit, Isaiah said I never had a problem with him because I was beating him. Why would I be mad at him? You know what I'm saying? But and then everybody just take what he say. Like, so if he say I think LeBron's a GOAT or Kareem's a GOAT, it's like, oh, he's hating on Jordan. Like Jordan is so beloved that is crazy. And I think that's when we go back, we talking about LeBron, like why, like all the criticism he get, because he plays opposite of 2 of the most beloved players, Kobe and Mike. So when people see something different, if you grew up idolizing that, it's kind of hard for you to look at LeBron and idolize that because that's total opposite of what you already was idolizing. So I think that's why he gets it like he gets it. And I think Isaiah gets diminished to some degree just because you just have that many Jordan, especially guys in the media, because they either grew up watching Mike or they was covering it during Mike's time. So they have their affinity for him. And that just kind of leaves Isaiah and that Detroit Pistons team and just overlooked, really.
When you look at that, give me your top 5
Top 5 what?
NBA players of all time.
All time? Um,
Don't get scared now.
Never that. Wilt, Mike, Kareem, LeBron, and that fifth one is always debatable. But
What are you basing it on?
What their individual greatness, who I think was just the best. Those 4, and that fifth one can go so many different ways. But
Cain.
You can go Hakeem, you can go Shaq, you can go Duncan, you can go Magic. Like, man, you can go Oscar. You can go a lot of ways with the fifth, but I'll go Magic today because I'm really a Bird guy too. So, but I'm gonna go. No, I can't go Magic because I don't think he was better than Bird. I can't do that. I might go Hakeem, man. Let me go Hakeem.
Do you think Larry Bird, real quickly before we get on out of here, do you think Larry Bird is now being sort of faded to the background? And do you think that's the fair? Do you think that's right?
I think it's just natural. All the older guys get really faded to the background, really.
Well, we just talk about, Magic stayed relevant.
Mike.
Yeah.
It depends on who we talking about. If you're talking about like our generation, no, obviously Magic's still gonna be relevant and Bird is gonna be relevant, but like, you know what I'm saying? The generation, our son's generation, I don't think they got, they not looking at like Larry Bird or Magic in that same context that we would look at him in, which is only normal. They didn't see him. Just like when we grew up, we didn't appreciate Oscar or Jerry West or guys from the 60s and 70s because we didn't see him. We might have heard about him and read about him, but we didn't see him. So, and I think it's the same way now. And that's just how it's going to keep being with each generation. Older guys are going to kind of get, unless they're still, like you said, if they still prevalent in some way, like Michael with the sneakers or Shaq and bark them on TV, whatever might keep them in the youth eyes. But other than that, I think that's going to happen to everybody eventually.
Dave, I want to ask you just a couple questions real quickly before we get on out of here. And I know I said that before.
It's all good.
I want to go back to you in terms of you growing up in an era where basketball in New York City was at pretty much its all-time high. Why was the game so simple for you to be able to play with the New York Gauchos when they were really a dominant program? And what was the thing that was what made it so easy for you to adapt and adjust and stand out?
Well, I think for me it helped that I kind of was a late bloomer per se, and so
In
I
all
really did,
facets,
huh?
in all walks of life, you was a late.
Knock it off. I really didn't start really playing to midgets. It was probably 13, 14 under really serious. But it was guys that played biddies, which people don't know, which was 12 and under, who was already awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like our boy DP, my man
Down.
Cook, um, Boo Bethel. I mean, these guys was getting 30 and 40, Yoda at 12. So when I started, one thing I was good at, I was able to play defense and I can pass per se. So that's easy to blend to this day right now. That's easy to blend in on any team. You know that you coach, I coach. You get a kid who only want to play defense and pass, he gonna get minutes. So and then my offensively, I caught up and I progressed gradually, which was I think looking back was a blessing because I never thought I was too nice that I couldn't hear what somebody was telling me. And I always joke, God bless my boy Dave Evans. This was my backcourt partner with Gauchos. So like Dave was probably the most advanced guy at 14 I might have really ever seen. Like, and he was getting 40. Like, I mean, literally he was 14 years old, 35, 40. So it's hard to tell a kid at 14, hey man, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. He looking at you like, I just got 40, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? But so when we was 14, Dave was here, and it was like, but as we get older, I'm closing the gap. I'm closing the gap. So I'm probably working harder than them because they was already nice. So I had to like go extra hard to catch up to that. So it probably ended up working out for me as far as being able to blend in. There's really no ego on my part. I'm not good enough to have no ego.
A couple of things. One of the things that really stood out to me was the fact is that you went into the Entertainers Classic of the 55th from Rucker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in a time where it was bigger than going to the garden.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one thing, I never tell you this, but I was just so amazed how calm you were in that space that you
Mm-hmm.
never got rattled to the point where it was almost like, even to this day, people love and appreciate David Cain so much that people don't even realize you're not from the Bronx, you're from Albany. But
Yeah.
like when you had those moments, I always wanted to ask you, how did you have that mindset to go? Because it was who's who was up in the park, it's
Mm-hmm.
everything. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
you having those moments. Again, it's one thing to be on the court, but it's another to stand out on the court. And you
Mm-hmm.
were standing out to the point it was, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Besides Dawu that was doing that. But
That's my
why,
boy. Shout out to
yeah, shout
Dawood.
out to Dawu. Why was it so easy for you? Like why? How was it so easy?
Well, first of all, I think if you talk to really most ball players, like once you on the court, all that other stuff really is not even relevant at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like the crowd, the oohs, the ahs, none of that. My thing is, as long as I have the opportunity, like if I'm prepared, then I'm not shocked at what I do. Like I struggled with that at St. John's a little bit when I was coming off the bench those first couple of years because certain games I don't know if I'm gonna play. I don't know when I'm gonna play. Blah, blah. So sometimes I go in the game, I'm just not in the right space. And coming off the bench, especially as a point guard, when you playing and it's not your team, for me, just wasn't a great situation for me. So that's the flip side of what you're saying right there. But anything after that, if I know I'm playing, my mindset is just to handle my business. And and I always looked at it. We used to joke at St. John's a lot, like, yo, all right, time to put our work shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So let's get busy. So when I went up to 55th, that was that was really considered entertainment, even though guys was hooping and they was nice. I took a team up there that was all blue collar. We just like, I don't care about no oohs, ahs. We getting them in the midst of playing, but we ain't playing for that. So we get up there and we handling our business. And what really helped us out, that was the first year that the tournament went man to man. There was no more zone. So even some of the greatest players that come out this city wasn't locking in on D. And like I tell you, I always played D. We had a team that was defensive oriented. Me, Lamar Middleton, Richie Adams, Predator. So it was just, I'm just here to handle the business, and I don't really care about nobody else on the other team, names. You know me. I ain't worrying about none of that, and I ain't really even doing it for the glory of the crowd, whatever. I'm blessed that came with it, a lot of love and all that. So when you out there, just when you got the right mindset, you like, yo, I'm just playing to win. I ain't really worrying about if I get 30. If I got to get 30, I'm gonna get it. But if I don't, I take the 12 assists tonight, or I'll go get the 12 rebounds tonight. I'll do whatever. So, and I kind of handpicked that team that year. So we all kind of got like the same mindset. We had a great chemistry. So it was kind of easy in that aspect because it's like nobody's really competing for the MVP. Nobody's really competing for who gonna get, things like that. So for me, it was just like, all right, let's just go up there, handle our business, do what we always do, and we up out of here. And that's what we did.
I never asked you, and I mean, again, just it's kind of odd to ask you these questions because I already kind of know some of the answers and stuff, and just being blessed to be around you and stuff, and us having this relationship and stuff. How did I've always wondered, and it had to bother you in terms of you had all this success. I remember your press conference at the Bell Forum when you signed with to go to St. John's. I remember that
Mhm.
to see that and to go to St. John's and see all the attention. And at one point I used to be like, man, they getting too much attention. We need to start this stuff. They're getting our attention, but it had to bother you in terms of, and you always were very poised and stuff and wore a brave face, but it had to bother you to basically get to a situation where you were one of the top guards in the city to now go to St. John's and you're not playing frequently. You're not
Mhm.
playing some and having
Mhm.
these situations to the point now that, you know, Mr. Lou Carter II, head coach, head
Excuse me.
coach of St. John's, is saying he made a mistake not playing you.
Mhm.
How did you deal with that, man? It had to be hurt some because
Yeah.
obviously, did you ever feel that those people, or did you encounter people who was all rah 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 for you, and then was like, oh, he a bum, he's trash? Did you encounter those
Uh,
people?
I'm sure they was there. I didn't encounter them personally, but first of all, it was very frustrating. I wouldn't even sit here in front like that wasn't a tough time. Um, what really kept me through it, the main reason I went to St. John's is for my daughter. I had a daughter. She was young at that time in New York, and I wasn't leaving her. So that was first and foremost. So that's why I went there. I definitely wasn't leaving, not over basketball. So my high school coach, AAU coach, everybody's like, "Yo, let's get out of here. They ain't doing right by you, yada yada yada." And I'm just like, "Nah, I'm good because I know I'm gonna at least get 1 year out of this." So that was kind of my saving grace a little bit, but it was frustrating during the 3 years. I really didn't catch a lot of flack during the summer because everywhere else I played, I was killing. So I played in Olympic Sports Festival. I played pro am every summer. I didn't play Rutgers, so I'm playing against overseas guys, college. So I'm doing my thing everywhere else. So I never lost confidence, and really, guys never fronted on me because of that. Because they kind of see what was going on, but it was still frustrating because like you said, especially when the next year came up, when the '90 class came out. So when like Red and Khalid and D Phelps and all them, and God bless Dave Edwards. Everybody's getting Bob Hurley, Kenny. Everybody's playing and eating. So when everything come home in the summer, like nobody's fronting on me, but it still feels some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm feeling like the outsider almost that got left behind. So that's what made the scene even that much more special because I got to redeem myself to the people who might have felt some kind of way or media people or people who don't really get to see what's going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? I always felt it was more than just basketball at that point. But Coach Conner said come to me years later and admit he made a mistake. I respect that, but it still kind of it cost me. So but we dealt with it. We made the best of it. We bounced back, showed improve, and just kept it moving from there.
Yeah, I think also too, which was really telling is the fact is that it had to, and I've always admired your strength. You're very, very resilient and strong. And I was so happy for you, man, that senior year and, all that you did. And really, St. John's really just, again, was the darlings of New York. And
Mhm.
then, what's so interesting is John Morant and the NCAA tournament last year of college against, I forgot who they were playing, and he had the triple double, and your name was mentioned in there, having,
Mhm.
these triple doubles in the NCAA tournament. It had to be something. And, I often tell you, I think obviously one of the last cuts in the Nick camp and how
Mhm.
well you played there. I was hoping that you didn't give up because I just knew that, staying with it probably would have had you in there. It ain't no problem. You would have definitely been in
Yeah.
the league. But
Yeah.
that was your dream. That was not the resiliency. You just said, I had enough. I don't want to do it.
Well, I couldn't keep chasing the politics. You know what I'm saying? It's not like now where maybe you be on a two-way or a G League or this or that. Like now we'd be in the league now. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, it's like the goalposts keep moving, and I'm like, I dealt with it at St. John's, and I dealt with it at rookie camp, and then I dealt with it at veterans camp, and then I go to the CBA. I'm like, all right, enough is enough.
Let me ask you this though. If you would have played your 4 years,
Hmm.
right? And let's say the outcome would have been the same, like, yeah, you don't get drafted or whatever, or
Hmm.
just general, would you have taken and dealt with, or better, would you have dealt with the goalpost moving and stuff like that? Would you have dealt with it a little bit better? Or was it because of the whole situation with the politics and whatever it was, the Luke Carnesecca to Saint, to the
That's a good.
NBA?
That's a good question. I don't. I don't. I don't know, but knowing myself, I'm not really great with politics at whatever level. So, being the fact that I've dealt with it before, maybe I had a shorter leash for it per se. But even if I started 4 years and it was the same situation, I probably think I would end up doing the same thing because it wouldn't have changed anything. Like if I would have started 4 years and went to rookie camp, and I'll tell you the story. I share the story. After 2 days of rookie camp, Jeff Van Gundy tell me, "Hey man, we really just brought you in as a favor because you went to St. John's. We didn't know you was this good." So he's like, "Well, you can stay around. I don't know if we're gonna have any minutes for you, but you can stay around." So I stayed because there wasn't really nothing else going on, whatever. So I end up getting the opportunity. Somebody leaves, I get an opportunity. I play, I do well. Go back to veterans camp. Pat Riley, yo, I wish I can keep you. This one's a little out of my hands. Blah blah blah. Politics, whatever. So even if I started 4 years and you give me that same thing, I go to the CBA. But he's like, "Oh, why don't you go to CBA, get some experience, play? You gotta get to the CBA." Guy doesn't really play. He don't like rookies. He don't want to play. I'm in Minnesota that cold for the first time. I stayed there a month. Let me get out of here. So I'm saying if I would have went to those same three things after starting 4 years, I probably still would have left it alone. And even when I got cut from the Knicks, I would have even kept going. If Pat Riley would have said you wasn't good enough, I just need you to do A, B, C, and D. I would have still kept going. But once you tell me I'm good enough, but there's other things why you can't stay, and now I know what they are, but you can't really say what they are. I'm not gonna really keep playing that game because I want to play, but I'm not thirsty for it like that. So I don't want to be nobody puppet. I don't want to be nobody training camp dummy and all that stuff. So I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, Dave, man, really, really appreciate this. We got
Mhm.
to do this again because
Anytime, brother.
this was some great insight. College basketball's here, NBA
Hmm.
here. This playing tournament is great, but
How you
more.
feel about that?
I like the playing tournament, and I tell you why. Because I think that clearly there's a method to the madness by Adam Silver to have this tournament in place. Because let's be honest, they're looking for a bigger pot, a piece of the pie, if you will.
Hmm.
They want
Business,
more.
always business.
Yeah, always business. And I think at the end of the day, it's working because now there's reports that Netflix is interested in purchasing the in-season tournament. So whatever they did in terms of the court and all that stuff, it got people to talk about, and it's become interesting. And I think that's the best thing to do because let's be honest, like you said, the product has been very, very watered down.
Mhm.
This either in season tournament, I think has spruced it up somewhat and will get us to a point that obviously will close in around the holiday time and you'll get ready for, all-star game and fingers and toes across by the league that they'll show up and play hard in the all-star tournament game. But I like the in-season tournament. I think that at the end of the day, it's a good distraction and hopefully see if people buy it. I think that's the biggest thing. But I've always been proud of you, man. Love you to death, man.
Likewise, bro.
And you always been a human, a kind and compassionate person that no matter all the success that you've had, you've always stayed even keel, and that's been great, man.
Let me say one more thing, G. And I like you said earlier, and I appreciate all the love I get throughout the city wherever I go. But a lot of it is just how I carry. And this go for even younger players, whoever might be listening. How you carry yourself when it's your time will determine how people will treat you later on. So even when I was moving or doing whatever, all I did, I never fronted on people. I never act like I was that guy. I never, it was just basketball. I never. It's what we did. I never act like that's who I was. So now, coming full circle, guys people I might have made feel important or special, any kind of way, just being a decent person. I tell my kids all the time, none of y'all are not good enough not to be a decent person because that's what's going to get you further in life. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like everything I'm receiving now on my blessings, business-wise, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, a lot of that's just coming back full circle from how I carried myself when I was playing.
Yeah, and you still cheated in his categories.
We get a rematch, brother. We get a
No,
rematch.
I don't want to play anymore. He is one of the best point guards to come out of New York City. And it's a travesty he wasn't included in that documentary, but it's the power of the Knicks.
Talk about that next time.
Yes, we're going to do this again.
All right, brother.
Hey, Gerald Brown, it's been heavy in the paint. Enjoy it. Peace.
Peace.